Hello, this is Crypto CJ. It's a trade of the day, Friday afternoon slash evening, Zoom edition. And Bitcoin has had a nice recovery today, and it looks like 40K held for Bitcoin as support. So let's go to the chart and check it out. Okay, should be seeing my Bitcoin day chart.
Yep.
Thank you. And looking at these recent candles from this week, Monday, we had the big drop. We closed around 39.5, up a little bit the next day, up a little bit more on Wednesday, another dip on Thursday. But all these are around 39 and change. Then today we have the big move up past 41. It's like 42K is actually the resistance we're going to be looking at. And yeah, I mean we've closed at 5 p.m. Eastern anyway with almost 5% move up for Bitcoin. So that's pretty good. And on Ethereum, it hasn't done as well, up 2.25%, and fell pretty hard. But 2200 held as support. I'm gonna have to update my zones here. But yeah, we haven't come close to the 3000 zone. I was hoping we would hit by now. So, and the Ethereum had the minor news that surprised nobody, that their ETF is going to be postponed, the SEC approval, until March. So I think that was probably priced in already. But yeah, no Ethereum ETF for another couple more months. Bitcoin had some assorted news. If you want to go in here on your Bitcoin trading view, you can check it out. Well, this guy is saying Bitcoin crash ahead, predicts 20K testing. That's a little harsh. This article here was pretty good, but a lot of it's kind of densely technical with ETFs and commodity options trading and things like that, that might have circumstances that may have led to Bitcoin's pump today. Something also about, it was USA government debt and maybe easing restrictions on interest rates and things like this allegedly had something to do with what happened today. I think some of that is speculation, but that's about all we do, right? Speculation. Okay, any comments or questions about the markets overall, Bitcoin and Ethereum? Okay, I did want to go to something I haven't talked about in quite a while. So I'm going to stop sharing this and share my Slack page, which isn't coming up yet. There we go. Okay, should be seeing my Slack page with the AA score alerts. So I wanted to look at this. When I first started using Altcoin Alert, here's a little history. It's in July of 2020, and about the first month I did great using this system right here. Just buying when the alert went off with really no technical analysis at all, even though I knew how to do it. At least by then I'd been trading about 9 months, so I was far from being an expert, but I knew how to find the 1, 2, 3 dip and support and resistance and some of the basics that we learned as traders. But but eventually it wasn't working anymore. Just relying on the alerts. Now, and then I bailed on it and never really went back to it. But yesterday I looked at these and I thought, some of these are pretty interesting because it gives us this average performance. So we look at today, and on this rune alert that went off at 5:10, the performance isn't very good. So, I mean, I wasn't up that early, but had I been, I would have blown that off. But this FET setup looks pretty good because it says, 12 hours or 4 hours, 1%, which is on my day trades, that's my goal. Just make 1%. I'm experienced trader, so I trade on leverage. 1% times 10x leverage, 10% on my trade. I love those. So And then you've got, if you're willing to hold longer, and we're going to talk about some short-term swing trading, go 48 to 72 hours, you're getting, 2, 3%. And these are pretty good, spot trades. If you're trading on Coinbase and you make 3.5% on a trade in 3 days, that's not great, but it's pretty good. Certainly better than a loss. So again, I'm going to start incorporating these alerts. I turned them back on. So I'm getting them from about, 7 a.m. to 11 p.m., give or take. So if I'm available to trade, I'll check them out in the future. And we'll talk about them hopefully Mondays and Fridays and see how they're doing. So, but some of these are junk. So like this one here, this wrapped NXM, these are tiny moves. 24 hours is negative, 48's negative, and 72 hours is up 2.8%. Yeah, I don't really care for that one, so I would have blown that one off. This one on a rally, we're going to look at that. You can see on the 48 hours we're up 12%, on the 72 hours we're at 21%. So probably the question I would have that I don't know yet is how do they come to these averages? I mean, how far is the look back? Is it going all the way back to July 2020, or is it annual or something like that? So I'll try to find that out and see if we can talk about that. For now, I've got the rally chart up. So this is something one can get on BitGet, which is a foreign exchange. It's not, I don't think it's on Coinbase. Looks like it's on crypto.com. That's easy enough to trade on. A trader friend of mine likes MEXC. I don't think the CryptNation guys do. So if you trade on this one, be careful. Don't put a lot of money in it. And then some OG exchanges like Bittrex and Bitstamp, Bitfinex. I haven't really traded on those before. So for now, I'll go with the BitGet chart since I have an account with them. And I went to the 30-minute. Pardon?
No Bybit.
No,
No Bybit.
I didn't see Bybit. So.
All right.
Anyway, so I went to the 30-minute chart, and this is my setup for swing trading. If you guys don't know, oh, sorry, I need to get back over here. You're not seeing this. All right, are you seeing my RLY trading view screen?
Yes.
All right, thanks. Okay, so here I am. I'm on the 30-minute. This is my swing trade setup, usually on the 15. So I'm usually looking at this, but since I'm considering holding this longer based on the information, like 48 to 72 hours, I'm gonna go to my 30-minute screen and my supply. We've got a big range here on the resistance side, 3.5%. So if you want to buy this now based on that alert that went off, actually it was about a couple hours ago. I mean, it went up a little bit, then down a little bit, then back up. So it's about where it was when that alert went off. This is because people ask, where do I get out when I get in? Well, this is the tool I use to help me with that. So this is the supply and demand visible range. I did a video that's on my my YouTube site showing how I set up my charts. So you guys, if you don't know how, you might want to go look at that video. If you can't find it, email me and I'll send you a link. But anyway, you can find this here in the indicators, supply and demand, and it's a Lux Algo is a paid service, but it's one of their free indicators. So let's say you get in right now. Up here is about 3%. That's a pretty good day trade. Go to the middle of the zone, closer to 5%. You'll see there's a lot of touches up here in this 5% area. That's probably what I would determine as my goal. And then the top of the zone here, which essentially represents these candles from Monday. That's yeah, it just moved. It does that. So yeah, up here it's going to be closer to 7 or 8%. So this is the tool I often use to determine where I get out on longer term trades. I mean, I already described my day trades, 1% out, but swing trades, there's more nuance, more flexibility. So, any questions on the rally chart and my use of the Slack group alerts?
I'll definitely have to go to your videos and watch them. I do have a question on that Altcoin Alert, the
Okay.
Slack.
Okay.
If you pull that Slack back up,
Okay.
okay, so if I was looking at rally and the alert went off at 1:25 p.m., it's telling me 12 hours later. I mean, that's not a for sure, but it's saying it's 0.81%
Well,
down.
that's a
So
negative. We
isn't
don't want
that when
that.
I would want to buy it and then hang on to it till either 48 hours or 72 hours to get that 21.41%?
If you want to play the averages, that's not a bad idea. So yeah,
That's how this chart is reading, right? I mean,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
what this is.
Right, but my point is I'm not totally relying on this. I mean, it's got these averages, and that I use Altcoin Alert to guide me towards what's moving, what's interesting. So when I
Okay.
see numbers like this in the 48 and 72 hours, I think, okay, swing trade, hold this for a couple days, and maybe get double digits. So, but I like your idea. Just waiting 12 hours. Of course, that means, if you're in my time zone, you're making a trade at 4 in the morning. So, uh,
Right. We do have to sleep. And
but you
then
could set a limit order, maybe, 0.8 or 1% below what it is now, and maybe it hits that overnight and then comes back up. So I've done that many times. A bit risky, but I
okay,
think you were
thank
saying
you.
something else. Did I interrupt you, or were you done with that?
No, you're fine. I was trying to figure, you got to realize I'm brand new and I don't know about the other ones on here, so I'm way behind. And so far in the couple weeks that I've done this, I went to Altcoin Alert and tried to look at the AAA scores and the bullish and very bullish and stuff. I must have done it backwards or something. And then I tried to look over on this to verify what I was doing, but
Mhm.
thank God I didn't use much money when I was trying it out.
Well,
So,
you also got some bad luck if you were starting this week, and that we had the sort of after party dip from the ETFs that were released earlier in the month. So there's nothing Altcoin Alert can do to predict news other than the significant alerts, and those are usually partnerships and listings on exchanges and things like that. It's not going to tell you, it's not going to be able to predict, really bad news like, in 2022 when Luna imploded and FTX imploded and all that. So, but it's pretty good at looking at positions on charts, and that's what I use it for. We will look at AA scores next. So let's get over there, and I'll show you how I use AA scores other than this to help me with trades. So
Luna crashed me.
yeah, me too. Got a lot of people. Okay. Altcoin alert. Am I on altcoin alert? I want to make sure I'm showing the same thing. I'm bouncing around. Okay, I'll assume I am. So I'm on the altcoin radar setup because I want all the information. I want all the columns. If you're new, you're probably used to seeing the dashboard and either short term or long term. I don't really care for that. I want all the information. So I'm going to refresh, reload. I'm going to sort by AA score. I'm looking for values 80 or higher. And we looked at rally already. So that's here in the list. The render token, I saw this one this morning. This is one I like to trade anyway. And so we'll go to the render chart. And this is a different setup. This is my day trading setup. And the first thing I usually do is look at the 5-minute chart. And if you're on my email list, you should have watched the iCoin Pro training about the 1, 2, 3 dip. That's one of my favorite strategies. So I usually take a quick look to see if one if I'm in the midst of one. I don't really have that now. Looks like a squeeze is starting to form on the 5-minute chart. We're in the middle of the red and green zones for support and resistance. So not really a great entry on the 5-minute. We're going to look at indicators shortly, and I'll show you how to set alerts on those if that's a little too over your head. You may want to try to catch a dip by putting an alert around around the green zone, the support area here. So you can right click, add an alert, crossing, and I usually use my information source for my alerts, AA score, and TradingView will remember that if you type it in a few times. On notifications, I'm going to notify in my app, which is on my phone, show a pop-up on my computer screen, and play a sound. You can choose whichever. You test some of these sounds. I like 3 notes of reverb. Click create and you're good to go. So that's how you do a price alert. You could also set one down here. It's pretty close to where I would set one for short-term support, say around 3.9, and that should hit probably pretty soon if it trends down. Okay, now what I usually do is set alerts on the 15-minute chart, and my go-to indicator lately has been this RTI, the relative trend index, pretty similar to the RSI, the relative strength index, but on my dips and retraces, I rely on this, and I look at support and resistance. When I'm trend trading, I'll look at this cumulative delta for confirmation, but we'll get to that in a minute. So for now, on the RTI, if you're trading spot, what you want to do is you want this set up right here where it dips below and comes back up. And it got beaten down a couple times until it finally broke through. I probably would have been in on this move here. Get my vertical line. So you can see it breaks below. I don't do anything with that, but when it comes back, that's a dip and a retrace. And I probably would have gotten in around here. Would have gone against me a little bit first. Probably do an additional purchase around here, and then I'd be in profit. Get my 1% right around here in 14 hours. So that's a pretty good trade. You can look at
buy it
support.
when it's in the red?
What's that?
Why don't you buy it when it's in the red?
Well, because it might keep trending down.
Okay.
I want it to dip and then show me evidence of a recovery.
Okay, gotcha.
So that's why I like this RTI, and I'll show you how to set a. Well, let's go ahead and do an alert on this. So we're going to right click on the RTI. We're going to cross up, type in 20, and you can do this only once, or you can, if you put once per bar close or once per bar, it'll stay on all day until you turn it off. Again, this is going to be a AA score, purchase, notifications. I'm going to go play a sound and whatever sound you want to use. I've already got this alert going, so I'm not going to set another one. But that's how you do that on the recovery. Now, another option is like, you can see we got faked out a couple times. This one, it broke above here, but it dropped again, dropped again, dropped again. And it took, 4 attempts before it came back. Fortunately, none of these drops were that much. if you're using a stop loss, depending on how tight it is, had you put it just below this area, you probably would have been okay. You just missed it and then caught the move up. I usually do additional purchases, especially on long trades. I do think, despite this week, we're overall in a bull market. So, yeah, I usually do additional purchases. I've been criticized by other traders for that. So you're gonna have to make a decision on how you want to handle when things go against you. If you use a stop loss, you'll probably lose a lot. And, it'd be frustrating to lose a trade like this. It just dips a little bit and then takes off. So you got to figure out how you want to handle that. Okay. So another thing to do is using the RTIs when it breaks above the 50. I've sort of customized this, and I show you how to do that in my video, where I've added some emphasis on the 50. So when it breaks above the 50, I'm going to look at let me pull this over, get a break here. I'm going to look at my cumulative delta, and that's showing me, strong green candle action up. And I got the RTI cross, so that's a go. And then as you can see, you get a nice move up. Let's see where we were at the time. Yeah, so I would have been looking to get to this zone here, which is, I've probably been looking for around 2% if I were trading this manually. So that's how that works. So that alert is pretty simple. Right click. Actually, the first one listed alphabetically is the RTI crossover on the 50. You could just use that, but I'm probably going to be a little more precise. Crossing up on the 50, and call it what you want, AA score purchase, and then set up how you want your notifications to be. Okay. So that's how I would use RTI to do spot trading. Now, for those of you who trade leverage or more experienced, you're going to probably want to trade both directions. So you can set up an alert so when it breaks through and comes back, you get an alert, or when it breaks up and comes down, you get an alert. So that is this one here, entering a channel. 80 on top, 20 on the bottom. So when it breaks down into the 20, nothing. You don't hear anything. But when it breaks back up, when it's coming back, then the alert goes off. Same thing, when it breaks over the 80, nothing. But when it starts to come back, then you get that alert. That's what I like to do. So 80-20 on entering a channel. I was doing exiting a channel for a while, but I wasn't having the good results. I'm switching over to the 50. So that's what I'll be talking about for the foreseeable future. But I'll mention it one time here. If you want to trade where it breaks above the 80, like it does here, it dips and then does take off. It does make a nice move here. So, that would have been, first it goes against you about 1.3%, and then eventually get up here to 3.4%. So that's a nice move. But sometimes it just kind of putzes along like this. So I'm going to try to catch those 50s and use that for my trend trading as opposed to the 80 and then the 20 as well. So, but if you want to trade that way, that's going to be exiting a channel. Looks like the same one. It's just exiting instead of entering once per bar close. That leaves it on all day. So if it breaks the 80, you'll get an alert. If it breaks the 20, you'll get an alert. Okay, any questions on render? AA score lets us know that it's in play, and that's what I like to use the AA scores for. Usually in the morning. So I set this up in the morning and it was listed, I think it was 79.8 or something like that. So close enough. And it's a coin I like to trade anyway. All right, so back to Altcoin Alert. There are other sorts you can use. Let's reload. Another one I like is a short-term sentiment. This is for day trading. Use the long-term sentiment for swing trading. We'll look at one more day trading option, and then we'll focus on swing trading. So short-term sentiment, that's what people are talking about online on Twitter. I'm going to match that up with the Elder Impulse Hourly. So the Elder Impulse Hourly is a technical indicator. So when I see matches, that gets me interested, and I want to check out those coins further, preferably coins I'm familiar with. A lot of times it's stuff I don't trade very often, if at all. So, I mean, right now it's this Coinos and Ergo. I've heard of these, but don't trade them. Serum I've heard of. We might look at that one. Secret. ILV I like. Mina, XTZ. I just flipped to neutral.
CJ, can you explain this chart?
Yeah, I've sorted by short-term sentiment. And sentiment is what people are talking about, on Twitter. You can hover over the question mark and get a more detailed explanation. And so I want to match what people are talking about with this Elder Impulse Hourly. And that's a technical indicator. So I see a match, they're both bullish. I'm going to look at them further. Now for you're going to be looking at a lot of different coins. But since I'm a little more experienced, I'm telling you what I like to trade. And so that's why I worked my way down to this one here, ILV. And that's probably the
So
one we're going to look at.
Short-term column doesn't have anything to do with the long-term and so forth?
Well, they're different. It's a shorter time period. The short term, like it sounds, is comparing
Right.
1 hour to the last 24 hours, and then the long term is 1 day to 20 days. So, but I don't trade just on this. I match these up with the Elder Impulse Hourly, and then I investigate further through my charts. I'm never going to take a trade just because Altcoin Alert or anybody else tells me to. I'm always going to look at my charts and news if that's an issue to make a decision. What I use Altcoin Alert for is just show me what to follow that day. So that's how I
Okay,
like to
I
use
was
it.
using this chart wrong.
Well, this is how I use it. I know there's training and other suggestions on how to use it, but what I'm trying to do is take the Altcoin Alert information that shows me what's moving that day and then match that up with technical analysis, and which I try to keep pretty simple for myself as well as people who attend my Zoom calls to get better entries instead of just throwing darts at a board. So let's see, we were gonna look at ILV. Let's check that one out. Quick look at the 5 minutes. And we're in a bubble right at the SMA line. These are Bollinger Bands, these green lines, then this red line, SMA, simple moving average. And it's kind of in no man's land on the 5 minute chart. If you want to wait for a dip on this, I want to set an alert right here around 17 or 73.80, give or take, on our indicators with the RTI. We got a really nice move, pretty similar to the last chart we looked at that dipped down here yesterday morning and then made a nice run up. So I would probably go with, it looks like it wants to dip below the 80. So if you're trading on leverage, you can do a short on this. You talk about, Friday afternoon shorts, because Fridays often are pumping days. And then over the weekend, sometimes with the lower volume, prices come down. So that's a better situation for short trading. So to go both directions on this one, enter a channel 80, 20, once per bar close, and you guys know the rest. If you want to trade this as a long, wait for it to dip down to 20 and come back. It could take a while, probably won't happen until tomorrow if it does. Then you'll go crossing up. You can do that on the 20. You could also do a crossing on the 50, like this, and catch that either direction. So if it does break the 80 and down to the 50, looks like it's dropping, you catch a short on that, and then leave that on, then catch it on its way back up again, probably tomorrow or Sunday. So that's probably how I would handle that one. Any questions on ILV? Okay. So that was short-term sentiment. And then we'll do a long-term sentiment sort, and we will look at this as more of a swing trade, something hold for a few days, and something that we're probably going to go long on. So I've got my long-term sentiment sort, Elder Impulse Daily. May not get many matches. Radium Dusk. Dusk is a OG platform. That's many years old. It's been pumping lately. I'm not sure why. It's up 15% today. Maybe that's played out already. Chili's I like, and it's just kind of gone sideways today, so it might be due for a move. Yeah, let's go with Chili's. So you've seen my day trading layout. I'm going to go over to my swing trading layout, which is a little different. It's more focused on supply, on the supply and demand. And I've also got the super trend, which is alert friendly. One thing I like about it. So I can set an alert on that and then look at where the coin is to determine if I want to get in. At the moment, it's in a sell position. So for this alert, the first one that comes up is buy. If you want to trade both directions, you can use this direction change. I like this a lot. Or if you want to short it, you can go with sell. Go with buy once per bar close. And long-term sentiment buy. And I'm going to go ahead and set this alert. And I'll do, since I'm swing trading, I'll put a handbell and click create. So if this alert goes off, it starts to come back, I'll have a decision to make, because it might be closer to this zone that I would like. I might go to a longer time frame. Yeah, I'm getting about 5% move, but it's probably going to have to come up more before the alert triggers. I've also got this other indicator called Annie's Ribbon. Annie's a day trader, swing trader, used to be associated with the Crypto Banter group. She's someone I've followed from time to time. And she created this ribbon. You can use this for confirmation. I think this is on my setup video. If not, you can use something else. You could focus on momentum or volume or things like that. But you shouldn't rely on super trend just by itself. If you do that, you will lose. You need to match it up with another indicator and hopefully improve your entries that way. So I'll give you an example. So at the time this buy signal triggered, I don't know if I would have taken it because it's way up here. I think I need to go to a different chart. Let's look at a 30-minute. Yeah. I think even the buy signal here on the 30-minute, trying to show you an example in the past, and it's not cooperating. So, all right, I'll fudge a little bit. Let's say this shows up like this. You get a buy signal down here, and your red zone's way up here. Then this is usually can be a decent entry. 4%. It's a pretty good day trade or short-term swing trade. So if your alert goes off on the super trend and there's enough room to retrace back to prior resistance, that could be a good entry. Ideally, you get by a buy trigger, below the halfway between the two zones is ideal. If it's coming out of the green zone and you get one, that doesn't happen very often, but had you gotten this one, double digit move, that's really good. So that's how I would do that one. Chilies you can find on most exchanges. And so set your alerts and go from there. Probably a couple days before you get multiple, more than 3-4% on this one. Any questions on Chili's as a swing trade and or spot trade? Okay, well, we're at about 40 minutes. I think I'll wrap it up here. Do we have any questions or comments about anything I've talked about? Any coins you want to look at?
CJ,
Yeah.
you showed us that Slack, discussion that I've logged into my Altcoin Alert. Is that the same thing as the ratings feed? If you go to Altcoin Alert and click on ratings feed, is that the same thing? I think, isn't it?
I don't even see your ratings feed online. I'm looking at the sub channels on
No,
Slack.
go to your Altcoin Alert account.
Oh, no. Slack is how they do their time sensitive alerts. So it has nothing to do with anything on the Altcoin Alert network. You gotta.
But when I looked at ratings feed, it had Rally in there in the ratings feed.
Okay. AA score ratings. Yeah, there's frequently overlap. So, so it'll, because it's gonna this will not give you an alert though. If you want an alert to show up on your phone or computer, you need to use Slack. If you don't care about that, then you can do the ratings feed.
Now, I don't find any way on Altcoin Alert to join this Slack group. You have to send them an email or something to get in that group?
It's a good question. Maybe some of the new folks can help with that. So I haven't done this in 4 years, so.
What was the
I
question?
didn't see any way how to join this Slack.
Yeah, how to join the Slack group.
Oh boy, that was part of the money that I gave him.
It
had
might
to do
be.
with the Slack and the altcoin. It was all one.
I want to see if it's in the support. Support videos. Yeah, Slack notifications. So you'll get instructions if you go over here.
Okay, there it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So there should be something. If you don't find it, support at altcoinalert.com. They're very responsive. I sent a message to them a couple days ago on something. So. Okay.
All right. Yeah, I was just wondering how to join that Slack group.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Well, if there's nothing else, I will wrap it up here. If you're watching on the recording, thanks for doing that. Hope to see you live next time. Check out the opportunities in the pinned comment. They help support the channel. Guys, have a good weekend, and we'll see you Monday. Bye.
All right.
Thank
Bye.
you.
See you.
Thank you.